welcome back to another episode of Continuously Refined.
I'm Sicily.
And I'm Shayna, and we are super excited to be recording another episode for you guys. I think this one's going to be super fun. Cicely recently got some blood work done and had a meeting with her doctor, and today she's kind of going to run us through the results of the test, what her and her doctor talked about, and some things that you're currently doing to implement changes and make improvements to some of those results. So, Cicely, what was one of the big takeaways from this blood work?
So to start, I got blood work done because kind of the last time I did it was the beginning of summer. And I really started to do like an overhaul of stuff with my doctor again at the beginning of summer. And so we looked at blood work and like levels of things. And then more recently, like kind of at the beginning of January, he was like, I want to retest some of your levels to see just where things are now and if they have gotten better or if there's still things we need to improve. We did this especially just kind of to see where my hormones were and like if those were on track.
Yes, the wonderful myth of our female hormones.
And so one of the big things is I don't have confirmed PCOS. But most likely predicted PCOS. And I matched the criteria of some of it. So, for example, my testosterone levels were high, LH levels were high, and then I also had high androgen levels.
Yes, which I can relate to you on that with the polycystic ovarian syndrome. I also had high androgen levels, and specifically within those high testosterone levels. So I was like, great, I'm a man.
Right. Lab range for testosterone is between a 2 and a 45, and I'm a 40. But what we've talked about before of the lab range is compared to people in your area, and so it's way larger than it should be. So a 40 is definitely pushing the end of high for testosterone levels.
Yes, extremely high.
And then my LH level was an 18.6, which is high depending on kind of where you are in your cycle. But the issue was I don't really know where I am in my cycle. So that part is kind of hard to test. But then we also looked at, I honestly don't know how to pronounce this one. BUN, I think is how you say it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And creatine levels were both low. So BUN, the functional range, which is what my doctor has deemed as the range, is between a 13 and a 19, and I'm at an 8.
That's extremely low.
I'm really low on that one. And then creatine is 0.7 to 1.1, and I'm at a 0.67.
Okay,
so I'm
low,
I'm
under
close,
the range.
but I'm under, yeah. And so those two specifically were tied to protein levels being weak. And so you can revisit, we talked about in episode 4, how we're really focused on just upping our protein levels. And that is kind of why I am so focused on it, is because when I got blood work done most recently, it was saying that there were still levels appearing that are saying that I'm still weak with that. And definitely need to be getting more compared to carbs. Another thing, total protein then came up as low. It was a 6.5, and the range was a 6.9 to 7.4.
So yeah, you're way under on that one too.
Yeah. And then another one was my homocysteine level, which was too high. So you should be between a 5 and an 8, and I was at a 9.4. Definitely above that scale.
Oh, wow.
And then the homocysteine paired with white blood cell counts being low and red blood cell counts being high. He kind of was like, this is impaired methylation. And Shayna, do you want to talk a little bit about what methylation is?
Yeah, so I've been recently doing some more research compared to methylation and how it relates to homocysteine levels being high. So pretty much methylation is this process in our body because we can't just take in nutrients and vitamins in their raw form. So we consume nutrients, vitamins, and these raw materials. They go into our bodies, and then we transform them and digest them into usable forms that our body can then use for its own different processes. And that is the form of methylation. So it's that process of turning nutrients and vitamins into usable forms that our bodies can use. And so when the methylation and that process isn't working properly, and when it's not able to transform, then, and we can't make that conversion, that's when we have deficiencies in our body. So when you read through your blood work and you see that you are in these lower levels, some of those levels like could be in relation to methylation and how your body is able to transform and turn them into these usable forms, the conversion. So it's really fascinating, this process of methylation. And a lot of that has to do with homocysteine levels. And when your body's deficient in that, a lot of doctors will prescribe you B12 and B6 vitamins. And that's supposed to help with the process.
Yeah. So one of the things that I already take and have been taking for a long time, a homocysteine supplement, and my doctor upped my dosage of it. So now I'm taking 2 of that, which is basically just a combination of a bunch of B vitamins.
Yeah.
And he was like, this is something that you will probably honestly have to take for life, because your body just is so deficient in it and needs it so much. And like Shannon was saying, methylation is such a huge part of our bodies.
It's a big process.
And so important. And so that's definitely something that I need to watch more. And my homocysteine levels, my doctor and I have talked about a little bit in the past, but we never talked that much about methylation until more recently. And then another one was my insulin resistance levels. So I basically am insulin resistant. And my insulin was an 11.1, and it should be lower than that, which kind of ties into PCOS.
Yes. And we had talked a little bit about also in that last episode, on episode 4, have touched on what insulin resistance is and when your body starts to store this insulin because the key and the lock system doesn't work and that lock is jammed. And so the key doesn't work to let the insulin and the sugar go through and into your bloodstream in a usable form. So now it's getting stored up. You're resistant to this kind of transformation and you can't use it as energy. So a big thing with PCOS is insulin resistance and being sure that your body is able to turn that sugar into insulin and then it's able to enter your bloodstream properly.
Yeah. So there were kind of 5 things that he was like, in order to help insulin resistance, you can do these 5 things. And it's what kind of food you eat, when you eat, what kind of exercise you're getting, sleep, and then stress.
Very lifestyle, holistic changes to your life.
And so with what kind of food you eat, he was like high protein, low carb diet. You're doing it. You just need to be like more consistent with it. Really focus on driving up protein levels. When you eat. So he said something that can really help with intermittent fasting and also PCOS in general with hormones is intermittent fasting. And that can be really good for you because it really allows your body to take the time to process everything. And he was like, however, that could also drive up your anxiety because that's a big change. There's a lot going on with it. You have to really focus on when you're eating. And so I ended up kind of saying, I don't think that is necessarily the best thing for me, which I've never like said no to anything my doctor has prescribed before.
No.
Yeah.
But it's what works for you too. Yes. And he understands that. And there's other things that you can incorporate in your life and take away to help this as well.
Right. And the 5th one of this is reducing stress with stress management and really focusing on meditation and circadian rhythm stuff. And it's like, it's stuff that I already do, but I mean, my stress levels are never good. And so I'm always working on those. And I was like, yeah, I don't think we need to drive up stress or anxiety anymore.
No.
But you can focus on other things about when you eat. So he said not eating 2 to 3 hours before I go to bed. So I've really been trying to not eat between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. Because I go to bed around like 10, 11 and normally wake up around 8. And so he was like, try not eating between 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. and that'll give your body enough time to like fully kind of reset itself.
Yeah, it allows, so that time between when you eat and when you're going to bed, your body's able to go through that digestive process. So then when you're going to sleep, it can really focus on sleep and the processes that can only occur when you're sleeping, like your immune system and the way that your circadian rhythm works. So that's why it's such a big thing to not late night snack or
Yep.
eat these big meals right before you're going to bed, because then your digestive system is going to have to work while your body's trying to rest and sleep. So then you're not getting that restful sleep that you need.
Yeah. And another big thing is eating within an hour of waking up, which we also hit on a little bit in episode 4, and just how that's super important for nausea and then also just for cortisol and blood sugar levels. And so cortisol is the stress hormone and it can be thrown off very easily, but especially by kind of weird and inconsistent eating patterns. That will then lead to unstable blood sugars, which causes stress on the body. So it's
Mm,
kind of this like full cycle of like
yeah.
you're stressing yourself out, but that's cortisol, the stress hormone. And then you're thrown off by the weird eating patterns, which leads to unstable blood sugars, which then causes stress on the body. And so now you're back at square one.
Exactly. And our bodies are so amazing, and it works together. So you
Yeah.
have to kind of hit on all these different key areas so that your body is one in sync and all working together properly
Hmm.
when it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And so with these changes, the two things in that whole little bunch that I'm really focusing on is that I haven't done before is the not eating after 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And then eating within an hour of waking up. I'm not always great about. And so I've really been focusing on those. And then I've also been focusing on exercise and changing my exercise a little bit, because I should be doing weights over cardio,
Yes.
which kind of ties into heart rate variability and not
Mm,
spiking my heart rate a ton. So I'm a big like run sprints person. And that spikes your heart rate, which stress is already doing.
correct. And it also spikes your cortisol. And
Yep.
then again, you're going back to square one.
Yep. And I'm putting stress on my body. Whereas if you're doing weights, you're keeping your heart rate more consistent and you're putting more of like a healthy stress on your body than a negative stress. So my goal is to do weights 3 times a week and to stay away from any cardio, for a period of time. I can go for walks, things like that, or like an incline walk, but mainly focusing on weights.
Like weight training.
Yes.
So can you walk us through like some of the moves that you would do in the gym? Like just a pretty like dumbbell
Yeah.
exercise, like what?
I'm big on dumbbells, dumbbell only workouts. I look up a lot. Whitney Simmons is someone that I follow on Instagram, and she'll post like a workout that she did, like arms only, and like 4 different exercises, and I'll pick one of those to do. I really like to try to hit like back and biceps one day, and then like shoulders, triceps another day, and then do legs one day.
Okay.
I'm trying to do legs. I really hate it. And last time I did it, I was sore for a week and
You were just complaining about it.
I was so mad. I was like, I'm never doing it again. So we'll see if I keep up with that and stay true
It's
to
so
doing
good.
legs.
I will be your cheerleader.
I
I
know.
love leg day.
No, it's not my thing. It's so uncommon. I feel like most girls are like so into legs and they love it. And I'm over here like, no, I don't want to mess with it. Like, no
Yeah.
thanks.
I don't want to be uncomfortable for the next 4 days,
No.
but it's so good for you. So we recommend weight training over here. I love weight training.
Me
It's
too.
been a fun adjustment to make
Mm-hmm.
in life rather than these crazy running and exhaustion and
Yeah.
sweat.
I do love weight training. It is really fun. And it's cool to feel strong, especially as a girl. Just like be like, yeah, like I lift weights. Like it's fun.
Yeah, and we're not bulking. Like we're not
No.
sitting here using 25, 30 pounds,
No.
but just a couple weight like reps with some 12 pounds on your arms
Yeah.
and some squats. You can see the difference. You can notice how much stronger you are and you feel better. You're not exhausted, but being strong is really cool.
Yeah. And something we can also definitely talk about with workouts more at another point is like working out in what feels good and in like kind of with your cycle. There's definitely days when
Yes.
I just notice I'm so tired and like there's days when I go to the gym and I can do bicep curls with 15s and it's fine. Then there's days when I go to try that and I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard today. Pick up the 10s. Like that is so okay.
It is. And cycle syncing workouts are huge and become much more of a popular thing recently. And a lot of influencers are doing those.
Yeah.
Depending on the phase is how much energy you have and how much you should be stressing out your body. And so it's really interesting. We'll
Yeah.
definitely dive into that at some point.
Yeah. And so then another thing is getting 8 hours of sleep. So sleep is huge. And we kind of touched on it a little bit with how your body needs the sleep to fully reset itself. I'm pretty good about getting 8 hours of sleep. I've never really had an issue with that. I've always prioritized that. But something that I don't really prioritize a lot is screen time before bed.
Getting ready for bed.
Yes, yep. Preparing your body and like kind of letting your body know like we're about to go to sleep. And so if you do need screen time before bed, or you're watching something on your laptop or you're scrolling on your phone, wearing blue light glasses before bed because that can increase our body's production of melatonin, which is a natural sleep hormone.
Yep.
And for Lent, I gave up my phone before bed. So I like put it across the room, which has been really awesome just to not even fall asleep with all the worldly things in your head.
Yeah.
But also the screen time and not having that blue light right on my face right before bed has been really nice too.
Another thing that I do with sleep is dimming the lights in my house about an hour before I go to bed. So I'll turn off all the lights, especially in my room, and I'll just turn on a lamp next to my bed, and then I'll pick up a book or I'll read my Bible or I'll journal. And that kind of sets your body up to, hey, you're starting to go to bed. I've also started drinking a magnesium.
Yep.
That's really supposed to help.
Yeah.
Also.
I take a magnesium. It's magnesium 3 and 8 supplement. I take 2 of those every night. You're supposed to take them like between like 2 hours before you fall asleep. My doctor was like, it is fine if you take it right before you go to bed. But I do my best I normally take it kind of before I shower or before I start getting ready for bed because I know I'm still going to spend time reading my Bible and journaling a little bit. I'm also and my roommate always laughs at me for this, I'm a big shower in the dark person.
Oh,
so
I've never tried that.
Yeah, so I started trying this over, I think, Christmas break, because me being me, I saw one TikTok on it and was like, yep, great, it's going to change my life. Like, let's do it. And so I decided to try it, and I like will light a candle and then, or like crack a door so that there is some light, because like safety first here, like we are in the shower. But I'll take like either a dark shower or a dark bath. I've been really liking like a detox bath with some essential oils.
It sounds wonderful.
It's been great. I try to do it like every Monday. But yeah, I've been doing that to like just get my body ready for bed and like kind of already be in the dark. Like you said, not have that like huge light on above you. And then I always walk back into my room with like just my lamp turned on, and it's so relaxing and like cool.
Yeah, sounds great.
So kind of just to go over like those are like the biggest things that my blood work revealed. And then kind of what my overall like summary is of things just to be working on is to focus on incorporating a nutrient dense anti-inflammatory foods, which we talked about, the high protein, low carb, avoiding grains, dairy, limiting alcohol. I don't drink caffeine, no processed foods, seed oil, sugars, things like that. It's not calorie restrictive, getting around a gram of protein in per pound of body weight. And then lifestyle recommendations to prioritize sleep. So to shoot for 7 to 9 hours a day, regulate my circadian rhythm by keeping a consistent sleeping schedule, trying to get sunlight on my face as early as possible, and dimming as many lights in the evening.
We love sunlight. That has been such an awesome thing to incorporate. And thank goodness we live in a place where the sun shines most of the days of the year, because getting that sunlight within the first 30 minutes of waking up has been such a game changer. Being able to wake up with the sun too. Like if you have the availability to do that and within your schedule, it's so awesome for your body to regulate that circadian rhythm. So wake up with the sun in the morning, go outside, look at the sunrise, and also go outside when the sun is setting. And that really helps like our natural body get in with the earth and the circadian rhythm.
Yeah. And then another thing, which kind of goes with circadian rhythm, but also just like lowering stress levels, and lowering that cortisol, is mindfulness exercises. So I try to incorporate breath work daily. So like 5 minutes of breath work. And the one that my doctor said is the best is like take an inhale and then you inhale as much as you think you can, but then you inhale a baby bit more. And then an exhale that's longer than the inhale. So if the inhale took you like 4 seconds, you should exhale for around 8 seconds. And I've just been like incorporating meditation and mindfulness in general, especially when I notice I'm a naturally very anxious person. So when I notice I'm getting stressed or anxious, I try to just like start breathing, just like continue slowing my body down.
You've done meditation for a while now, and
Yeah.
you had always talked to me about it or like mentioned like, oh, I meditated this morning. I'm like, what? This way you did what? Like, I guess I do yoga, but what is this meditation? Can you walk us through, like, you said you had played a YouTube video, and I've started last week for the first time.
Yeah.
I did a meditation. So can you share like how you started or a good way for someone to first do a meditation practice?
Yeah. I think I first started just with breath work. But I'd say that that's kind of a difficult way to first start. I would first start with just a 2-minute meditation on YouTube. Just look up a 2-minute quick meditation. 5 minutes is great. If you have 5 minutes of your day to give to meditation, it's awesome. And you can do whichever one you want. There's song meditations if you like listening to music more. There's ones for anxiety and ones that will just walk you through how to slow your mind down and like kind of work through those thoughts that are going on. I love it because my brain never turns off. And so it helps me to be able in more anxious moments to kind of start to naturally turn my brain off. But yeah, it's definitely hard and I'm not great about doing it every day, but yoga is a great form of meditation and a great form of breath work and work on breathing and just it's just all about like lowering your nervous system and like slowing that down.
I love setting an intention in the morning for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So getting up, doing that yoga, the meditation, breath work, and being like, here's how I want the rest of my day to play out. I know I have a really big exam, but in the middle, I'm going to try to find joy in these things and set a specific intention for the day. I've really loved it. And it totally has changed the way that I walk about my daily life.
Yeah. Journaling is like another great form of like meditation, prayer, or reading your Bible. They're all things that are like proven to reduce stress and to be super helpful for your overall well-being.
So good. And it's really cool that you have a doctor who's telling you to do these things.
Right? Yeah. I also have a device called a heart math, and I can plug it into my phone and then like a little piece of it like attaches, like clips onto my ear. And it measures my heart rate and is a form of like that's kind of how I actually first like got into meditation more is because I had to be doing that when I was first working on my stomach. And you like track your breathing and your inhales and exhales, and your goal is to like get your breath very even. So you're like trying to get a score at the end.
Oh.
And I always worked so hard at it because I was like, I'm gonna get that great score, you know, like I always wanted all 5 stars. I don't think I ever got all 5 stars, but maybe if I did it now, I would. I haven't done it in a while, but I do have that. So that was helpful too. And then the rest of my recommendations are just some of the supplements that I'm taking. So to continue taking Sensitol, which is a hormone, like helping with my hormones. New Adapt, which is a stress management one. Progestrate supplement, which is again a hormone related one. My magnesium one is optional, but that's recommended for stress management. It helps with detox, helps you to sleep better, helps with brain health. And then another thing that is kind of overall helping with PCOS stuff is to gradually reduce plastic burden, especially in food containers. So I switched to glass containers,
huge
nonstick pans, instead of like and more going towards ceramic pans, silicone spatulas, not things that
the Teflon.
Yep, not the things that'll scratch those nonstick pans. And also cosmetic overhaul and checking to make sure cosmetics are clean and things like that.
Yeah, and the chemicals and like the cleaning products too. We've kind of touched on.
Yep,
big thing. So I know going into blood work and then sitting through it with your doctor can be kind of overwhelming. They break through and they go down, like break down and go through every little thing. And I know that can be overwhelming. So is there kind of like a mindset that you walk into it with or something that you tell yourself on your way out? because it's a lot of information. You sit through an hour and they're telling you all these things that are wrong with your body and here's what you're going to do. How do you kind of combat that stress and slowly add these new things into your life?
I think kind of what you said at the end is I slowly add them into my life, and I'm a huge 100 or nothing person, which is so difficult. I normally hang up these calls and I am just so overwhelmed at first because I'm just like, I don't even know where to start. Like, and it can be discouraging sometimes when you're like, oh, I've been doing so great. And then you see your blood work and it's like, not that I wasn't doing good. Like, my blood work is still so much better than it was in 2020. But it's like, I thought I was doing better. And now I'm like, okay, cool. They're like, I'm not doing great with protein. And I was trying so hard and thought I was. And so it can feel like at moments like, oh, like I was doing my best and my best wasn't good enough. But it's kind of just realizing that like I'm doing this to help continue making myself better. And it's not my doctor sitting here telling me you suck at this, you're doing bad at this. Like that's not at all what it is. And just slowly working on these things. So especially for like reducing plastic burden or cosmetics, my doctor was like, as your Tupperware starts to get old, change it out. As your pants start to scratch, change them out. Once you run out of your mascara or your foundation, start looking into better ones. Like instead of being like tomorrow, you need to go through your whole house and get rid of everything. Again, just completely start over. And that is super helpful. And I've been really trying to focus on just like one thing a week. And if I end up being like, oh, I got the sunlight this morning, great. But like last week, I was really like, I want to weight train 3 times. That is my goal by the end of the week. Instead of being like, I'm going to weight train and I'm going to get sunlight every morning and I'm going to bed at 10 p.m. and waking up at 8. Like instead of being so strict, which is so my vibe and the way that I would try to do it. But you're going to feel so unsuccessful with that. And so you really have to like build up your own confidence almost and just slowly add these things in. And that also allows you to see how you felt and track how you like felt with whatever you were doing. So like with weight training, I was like, I felt great. That was awesome. I noticed a difference. I noticed that I felt good. And I felt like I succeeded at the end of the week because I didn't give myself a list of 10 things that I needed to change.
That's so great. And really being in tune with your body and willing to give yourself grace, but also see how you feel at the end of it. It's so awesome.
Yeah. That's kind of everything with my most recent blood work and just kind of where I'm at now and things that I'm trying. I think one of my next goals is definitely going to be to work on taking my supplements every day. I'm not great with those. So that'll definitely be one of my goals coming.
That's really awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing. I loved hearing more about your recent blood work, and I hope our listeners, did as well. Yeah. So we'll continue to make episodes like this and also let you guys know how we're doing with our changes. And you guys let us know if you are changing anything else. You can follow us on Instagram at Continuously Refined, and we can't wait to continue sharing episodes with you guys
and refining our lives together.
Yep. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.